So Dave Meltzer responds to Vladimir Romanov, who says, how can something that is losing viewers and live crowds value? Are you supposed to be the business expert? It doesn't add up. And Meltzer says, well, AEW, they've gained viewers since January. Only problem is nobody knows how many. And then I quote tweet this, and I'm like, if nobody knows how many viewers they've gained, how does he know they've gained viewers? What the actual? And people are saying to me, well, because they've gone on Max, it's like 1%. It's like 30% like the NFL if they're watching. No, idiots. Meltzer polled his own audience and then went based on these polls, these studies we did of the business, because we learned the business experts, Tony Khan. And then he said that it was like a fact. And then he used that math on Twitter to deduce his own audience. It's not 30%. It's the math works out. If everyone was an observer AEW, Mark, yeah, okay, then 30, they're doing NFL numbers. Sure. Your audience primarily are the ones who are like, well, I'll watch it on, Max now, That's what's going on, dude. And they're super mad right now and freaking out at me. You notice the pushback of the Dave hate? Dave gets called a liar every day. Well, because he gets proven to be a liar every day. It's not my fault. It's nobody's fault. I'm sorry you get robbed out of 15 every month. It's not my problem, though, right? I'm going to play my flute. Yeah, Meltzer saying they've gained viewers. Why? Because they went to Max, is what he's trying to say. Or because of the NBA lead-in thing. Is he trying to weasel that in? Going to Max doesn't automatically mean more viewers. In my opinion, the only people who watch it on Max are some people who didn't have access to it before, like on TBS, and that's a very, very small amount of people who are watching it. And then some of the people who watched on TBS, it's now easier for them to watch on Max. Not all of them at all whatsoever. Not 30,000, not 300,000, maybe 30K, maybe. I'll give you that. But it's not 30% increase and all this shit. It's none of that. And for Dave to say they've gained viewers since January, only problem is nobody knows how many. Okay, so if a tree falls in the one wood, if there's one tree in one wood chat, okay, would you hear? Would a woodchuck chuck if a Dave could chuck wood? You know what I'm saying? You guys get what I'm saying, right? If a tree falls in the woods. So stupid. Had a long day. I've just been battling this cold. It's been like 2 weeks, guys. Like, goddamn, sleeping weird hours during the day and shit, trying to nap it off. Anyways, but yeah, dude, he is just completely talking shit here, and that's my point. Okay, let's say they did get an increase. Prove that somehow. Have Max, have WBD, have Tony Khan show us some shit. Prove it. Because everything Netflix and WWE does proves it. Otherwise, you're just talking shit. It's all it is at the end of the day. So people, here's Dave's lives again. We absolutely destroyed this. Cody Rhodes posted a video. Him and The Rock are toasting tequila. It says Louisiana SmackDown, February 21st. Also, Ari Emanuel pretty much stooged it on Pat McAfee. He's friends with The Rock. So people go, well, no, he's just talking about John Cena, maybe. No, he's friends with The Rock. I don't think he's friends with John. I think Ari and The Rock are way closer because The Rock's tight with Dana White and shit, and Dana and Ari are really close. And Ari's, I think John Cena's like not as close with them as The Rock has Netflix deals. Cena doesn't necessarily. He's still kind of grinding his way through the Hollywood shit, like he's not quite at The Rock's level. So I'm pretty sure that's not what it was. But okay, I'll give you, maybe he didn't allude to, but no, he was alluding to The Rock. But anyways, we proved essentially that The Rock, there was at least 3-4 weeks notice. Well, Dave doubles down. Dummy Dave doubles down and goes, I know that there's definitely people not happy with the way they had a game plan, and the game plan completely changed this last week. See, this is why everybody's so stupid. Ready?
Dummy, yeah.
Because this was the cope last year when The Rock showed up out of nowhere. But at the start of this year, as far as WWE years, right? So like Mania to Mania. So at the end of last year, the start of WWE's year, or like the end of last year, The Rock showed up out of nowhere and it was such a change of plans, unexpected. And then The Rock comes back and is like, we have plans like going in the future, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then a year later, The Rock shows up and they're trying to pretend like it's unexpected again. And like a year ago, they didn't lay out two plans. If The Rock's here, here's what we're going to do. If he's not here, here's what we're going to do. If he can wrestle, here's what we're going to do. If he can't, here's what we're going to do. So last year, he did genuinely show up out of nowhere, and we're all like, what the WWE years, right? This year now, he was there the year before, and then they laid out, he's there going forward, even all the dirt sheets while The Rock's on the board, and he's here going forward. Now we're supposed to believe again this year they don't know what they're doing, and they're just like throwing shit at the wall. They didn't have a plan a year ago this time, so The Rock didn't pull the same shit. Like at least a vague one. He wasn't coming back for WrestleMania season. Are you sure about that? Julia Gulia, I need that for the soundboard. John Cena going, are you sure about that? And I'm sorry if you already sent it. But yeah, like I just don't buy that for a second, man. They knew The Rock was coming WrestleMania season. So he says, I guess we'll find out Saturday if they change from Cody versus Cena. And I don't know where he fits in. And so Dave just saying flat out it's Cody versus Cena and shit. So I don't know, man. They never gonna get it because I'm too smooth. They never gonna get it. I thought you knew. They never gonna get it, but they ain't got a clue. You're never gonna get it. Akon? Anyone? Holy shit, that's a throwback, man. So this clip just went viral, and I don't know if Dave's gonna blame Brian for this one, but here's Dave using a rotary phone. There's people in this chat who've never seen a phone like this in their lives. Y'all remember phones with actual buttons on them? You know what I mean? There's people watching wrestling right now, and it's so funny. Dave's like, oh, everyone's out of touch. Meanwhile, like, there's people who are alive right now who never existed in the world, who are adults, who never existed in a world without iPhones. You know what I mean? And Dave's on a car phone from the 1980s.
I've seen people like rave about the match, and I mean, I thought the match was really.
Yo, I think my grandma got one of those. Is that the one with the cord in the charger, but it hooks up to the? It's got like a D block charger on the end of that thing, so the phone don't die. This is the one that loses service. You go 3 feet from the front yard. Oh shit, bro. Oh man, that is funny. And he's always like, everyone's out of touch. You're out of touch, old podcasters. I've been doing this 50 years. Look at my phone. This is my cell phone. Oh shit, man. Oh, Dave, I got a new ringtone for you, bro. Oh man, so good. Look at this shit though. He's talking on like, what is this? Is there even a call directory on that thing, bro? And these are calls that people charge. He charges money to like review this match. Give me $5-10. I'll review this match. And he does it over this phone, dude.
Really good. But that, I mean, honest to God, like that killed it for me. It's like, okay, that's the ref sees him do this. It's got to be a DQ. Not only that, he didn't even boot him out. I've seen people like rave about the match, and I mean, I thought the match was really good. But that, I mean, honest to God, like that killed it for me. It's like, okay, that's the ref sees him do.
That's a ref. See, that's a He looks like a DJ scratching at a turntable right now. Why is he holding the phone like that? He's holding on to his toupee on the other side. Like, what's going on, dude? Jesus Christ, Dave.
Do this.
Lay off the steroids. You look insane, dude. Oh, shit.
It's got to be a DQ. Not only that, he didn't even boot him out. I've seen people like rave about the match, and
just one more time, Chad.
I mean, I thought the match was really good, but that, I mean, honest to God, like that killed it for me. It's like, okay, that's the ref sees.
It's like, okay, that's like what you want. Like, look at him. He's holding the earphone and turntable in. Like,
him do this. It's got to be a DQ. Not only that, he didn't even boot him out. I've seen.
Oh man. Holy shit, man. That's one of the funniest things ever. I might need to save that one for research, dude. So Dolly the Sheep 1903 says, show me the view numbers. Say it, Dave. Show me the view numbers. And Meltzer goes, all you need is 30,000 viewers between 18 to 49 for max, and you're up from December. I don't know the numbers, but common sense would tell you it's a lot more than 30,000. How would it be? How does common sense tell you that? And then these Mark sickos repeat it to like average people. Okay. And you're sitting there going, what the Switchblade says 30K and 18 to 49 streaming on Max is well above 10% watching on Max when NFL only gets 10% watching on streaming on Sunday for their simulcasts. Common sense would tell you that the ratio would be less for AEW than the NFL. Give me a logical reason why AEW would be higher than the NFL. He can't, but I study Patrick Mahomes. I study the NFL. Cuervo and Patrick Mahomes and Tony Khan, the three amigos.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Man, what an idiot, dude. This is what I mean. He doesn't know what he's talking about. It's the grift is real on Dave's end. And then people get mad at you for questioning Dave, bro. And it's like, this is why. What makes you think they do NFL numbers? They don't. So Bischoff responds to this guy saying, like, Meltzer thinks he knows more than you. Last I know, he never worked in the business, let alone for Vern. Gagne is responding to, obviously, or referring to, rather. Eric Bischoff says he's a hack gossip rag writer who poses as legitimate journalism. He's never accomplished anything other than distributing a gossip rag, or for Moose Knuckle, a coom rag. I don't know. I brought that up because someone said that earlier in the show, one of the sickos. So Bischoff responds to the phone, the landline phone, dude. And Bishop goes, remember this image next time this clown refers to someone as being out of touch. The irony is too much fun. Now, I get it, though. People will respond because I've worked, too, at like, okay, let's say there's a radio station. They have phone-ins. They'll use a landline and shit. I get it. But it's just that Dave doesn't need to do that. And it just shows that, like, he's not this... I don't know, man. It just proves the point. And like how the audio sounds coming across. Like you can't sound like you're phoning into your own show when people are phoning into you and they sound clearer than you do and you sound like you're calling into your own show. No, Dave, get a cell phone, use a laptop, get a tablet. There's so many other ways. Take some notes so you don't go, Tony Khan every 4 seconds. Meltzer says this, dude. Like, look, this is how he pushes the narrative. There are 35 million homes that get Max that don't get TBS or TNT. And homes with those situations available have declined 29% since 2019. And clearly tons of people who used to watch on TV have switched to Max. Tony Khan. Everyday discussion with people I know, and every poll on the subject says the same thing. Okay, you don't know anybody. Every discussion you have is with yourself in the mirror and into those papers while you're writing shit down that incoherently. Okay, yeah, things have declined since 2019, 29%. But look at WWE's ratings, look at AEW's, look at the attendances, look at the merch sales, look at the deals they're getting, etc. Also, your polls were just your audience, so those don't count because your audience, for sure, if I polled my people, Dave, the PWT universe, 0% of them switched to Max for AEW or anything. You know what I mean? So you're just in a bubble and you have confirmation bias, it's called, and you just don't know what that is because you're a dumb and you're deteriorating in age. 35 million? Okay. How many billion have Netflix? No one was ever like, oh, they're going to get 10 million. Like, no one seriously said that. We were like, if they do, great, but that likely won't happen. So just like 35 million homes get Max that didn't get TBS. Okay, that doesn't mean even one more person's watching, especially when they're not putting it in anyone's faces, especially when they don't have 35 million followers on socials and shit. So Meltzer got into it with Marie Shadows. And so I tweeted, Meltzer is a bitch made because he'll argue with a woman and is constantly bashing them, but then runs and blocks when the flutes come playing. And Meltzer responds to Marie Shadows, where do we start with this actually? Because they start beefing and like he can't get her out of his brain because he was a dick to her in private emails that I know what was said in these emails, chat. It's not my place to tell anybody. Dave, do better. That's one thing I'll throw out there, which Marie threw out there. So I love that she hit him with that because Now, I'm not here. A lot of people are like, Marie's a grifter and all this shit. Well, I'm not here to I don't even know or care or give a about that. And she's not grifting. She's just giving opinion shit. She's a creator, bro, doing her thing. And again, grift is like a small scam. Like, what is it? Are you trying to say she's misinformed? Then say that. Don't call it grifting, But anyways, Marie, though, he brought her up on the message board. He's emailing her. He can't keep her name out of her mouth. Dave was saying, like, I emailed her back and whatever. I think it's in the bookmarks. But she responded, said, you absolutely did not email me back after January 9th. Now remember that. Because later Meltzer goes, we'll read the email from the 8th. And it's like, yeah, but she's saying you didn't email her back after the 9th, which is what you're trying to say you did. And then he just shut the fuck up because what else is he going to say? But anyways, she said, you absolutely did not email me back after the 9th. First time since we interact. And the info mentioned here wasn't in the email. You and I know that. You need to learn how to tell the truth. It'll save you, whatever. Because this is what Dave does too. And you notice it when he argues with Bryan. So he'll argue with Bryan and start inserting shit that him and Tony Khan text about. And even Bryan famously had to point out, like, well, tell people that. Dave's like, well, I know that. And Bryan's like, well, we don't. The people don't. You're just texting Tony about storylines and shit we don't know about. And then act like we're dumb because you and Tony have this shit in your head that no one else knows. So he does this constantly. And so with Marie, he's doing the same thing. Like before, I have the other one bookmarked. We'll see it. But for some reason, it's out of order. But what essentially he was saying was like asserting rather that the shit that she was saying in her tweets here didn't line up with or was in the email portion. And she's just pointing out like, no, we didn't talk about this in email, Dave. You guys get what I'm getting at? And he always does this. Where's the evidence? His arguments with Bryan, where he gets mad at him about, okay, Dave, you and Tony know shit. We don't know shit. That's like Dave. He's had an email exchange with her, and then he's lumping it together with like other shit that's going on publicly. And then he's like, oh, it's in these emails I told her. And she's like, that didn't happen. And then he just goes, whatever. The first time you sent me a report, I saw it and emailed right back very nicely explaining. He keeps saying that too, very nicely. No, you were a dick. And that's why he keeps saying that, because he knows he's a dick and he's like projecting right now. And this is like sociopathy. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but I'll tell you this. I know what was said. So no, you weren't nice, And not that he was like, dumb bitch, shut up. He wasn't like that either, but he's just being condescending Dave. Right. And if you think that's nice, Dave, then you don't know how you come across to other people. And that's a social problem. And that's what we point out too. You have a social problem, dude. You don't know how you come across them. If this is all just oblivious to you, you have very bad social awareness and shit. And you need to go, oh, my bad. He goes, I emailed very nicely explaining that he was in fact suspended, and NJPW people told me. It's been nice. It's been since been acknowledged everywhere. I'm so sorry you added that extra space, throwing me off. If you don't get your emails, it's been 7 weeks with Charlton gone. So you have had 7 weeks to apologize for claiming I made something up. See, they all want apologies, but they never apologize when you verifiably call these out. They just block you and ditch. That's all it is, dude. So Marie goes, you absolutely did not. Oh, yeah, you need to learn how to tell the truth. It'll save you. But you said I'm doing this for clout and you're done with this. So, and then Marie says, like, hi, show me the evidence or you do better reporting. NJPW has yet to say a word when they usually do. You have my email. And she just keeps pointing out, like, Dave, that's fine. But all I'm saying is that Chris Charlton and New Japan both never said shit. So, yes, if you said he's lying and he's not, then okay, maybe you can retract that, whatever. But I'm not here to defend even how Marie gets. She's a grown woman. Let her do her thing. It's just Dave's so bitch made for any of you fellas in the chat with flutes. He would never give you that, but he just thinks he can like bully her or some shit, That's what I don't like. But he goes, I can text or email almost any major power person anytime. Almost any major power person anytime. The power, Dave has the power, the Superman. I can call Batman. I could call the Flash. Just watch. All the major powers. Macho Man and Hulk Hogan. All the mega powers too. Tony Khan. Holy shit. And he goes, I'm not helping book WWE either, even though I do discuss it with people in power all the time. Terry Taylor has no power, bro. Also, it has been acknowledged everywhere that Charlton is. So he just stooged there that he is just texting with people in power at AEW, and clearly his shitty influence of wrestling is rubbing off. And there you go. Like right there. He's just stooging it all over the place. How could anyone take him seriously again? Right there. But he's too dumb to know that. Also, it has been acknowledged everywhere that Charlton is suspended and actually will be returning in 2 weeks. I also emailed you that directly and told you it was confirmed by those in the company when you accused me of making that up, and the next day you just repeated the same stuff. Where did she repeat it, Dave? Where did she repeat it, Dave? On PWT? Holy shit. Hold on a second. Whoa. Where did she repeat it, Dave? Huh? Let's go, chat. He's going to get mad at these flutes soon. I promise. The flutes are just dumb. I mean, Brian. Oh man, I get the clout chasing and shouldn't have. Responded. So that's it from here. I get the clout chasing, Dave. No one gets clout from you. They get embarrassed and look dumb. She doesn't want clout from you, man. Maybe clout for you don't get clout for calling Dave out. You get a bunch of sicko assholes who talk shit to you, and then you have people like me having to defend everybody. So this guy responds, and I just own him because he's like, SS the email you sent her and show everyone she's a liar. You can cover her email address. Substance of the email with date timestamps will prove you right. And this is like a Meltzer fan, and they like it in his circle, right? And I just quote you to go, except he can't and won't do that because he's lying. He wasn't very nice in the email either. He was a condescending prick like usual. And that's the thing. Okay, this guy is just like, yeah, show timestamps. Just own her, Dave. It's like he won't do that because he's lying. And he would have just did that.
Liar!
And he would have just posted him to his message
Tell us
board.
what you know, you goddamn liar!
Wrestle Talk says the real reason WWE is already doing Julia Gulia versus Stephanie Vaquer in the double championship match at NXT Roadblock in 2 weeks is because one of them needs time off due to being banged up. So here's a good old Brian, and then PWI just stooped it. Shitty ass hack dirt sheets. But yeah, he goes, without spoiling it, because of if I spoil the match. One of these women is banged up, needs time off, and so they're doing the match, and then she's taking time off, so that's what happened. Yeah, I think Julia Gulia just goes right to the main roster. If she's injured, just don't even bring her back to NXT. Just have her go right main roster, and it's all good. But so the last little exchange here, right? Marie goes, you saying whatever is a huge tell, David. Meltzer goes, check your email on Jan 8 at 1:20, which read in response to you saying I made up the Charlton suspension. New Japan informed me personally. He did say that. Again, you've had 7 weeks of his disappearing from TV to correct it. And then, he goes, she said January 9th and after. So where's that email from? Exactly. Because her response to him, which again, this isn't my place, right? But earlier she brought up, you did not email me past Jan 9th and shit. And he's just like, well, whatever, Tony Khan. And like that, he goes, check your email. So he went into his email, checked, reread it, Jan 8th, 1:20. And she's like, yeah, but she's like, what about what I responded to after that? And so Marie goes, you must think I'm special since you're asking for an apology when you don't ask anyone else. 2, the bickering looks bad on both of us because you're not willing to prove anything. Exactly, dude. She's not claiming shit about emails. She doesn't need to. There's no confirmation from New Japan or Chris. Please do better, David. And the please do better is what I quote tweeted and laughed at that she hit him with, because that's like the main thing, is just the whole like please do better Dave thing. I don't want to stooge anything that was emailed to her, but that's what he may have said, something along those lines to her. Sorry, I know I'm beating around the bush a bit, but that's how I have to do it. And because of that, Dave, just do better. Holler at him like me or something like that if you want to really have this debate. And until then, shut your bitch ass up, Dave. We coming for you. That was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.